I have put a value of like how much money would I pay um monthly to like be my optimal self, to be like the happiest
Mm,
version of myself, to be the
huh.
most fit, healthy version of myself. And honestly, I would spend a ton of money on that.
Hello and welcome back to The Well-being. My name is Madison.
My name is Rachel.
Today we are talking about why people spend money on literally everything but their health.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm gonna empathize with everybody that does this
Mm-hmm.
because I think long and hard about like health decisions
Mm-hmm.
too. Like it's not an impulse
Totally.
buy.
That makes sense. It's not an impulse buy. I think you do have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, or like at first it's not an impulse buy. It's almost like you change your way of thinking and like
Mm-hmm.
value of like what's important to you, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes more of like, okay, yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna spend money on that.
Yeah, totally. I also think that health doesn't feel urgent
That's so
until
true.
it is.
Until it is. It's like in that prevention mode of like
Mm-hmm.
whatever you buy right now, even like a gym membership, and you go to the gym one time, or you go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
even if you go to the gym 3 times for like 3 weeks, you're like, I mean, you do notice a difference, but it's subtle. Like
It's
it's not
subtle. It
like,
takes so much time. And like you don't know what your 80-year-old self is really going to be doing.
yeah.
Let's be real.
Honestly, I don't know if it's something about being in your 30s, but lately in my 30s, I'm like, I get terrified of things like that other people do that I'm like, that is like how are your bones? Like, are they healthy? I don't know. Like, that's scary to me. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. I think that is scary. But I do think 30 is when people start being like, ooh, my back hurts and I have a bad knee and I have a bum shoulder or whatever. But then it's like, okay, but why? And usually half of it is like the way we talk about our bodies is so negative. And so then it's like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, and I get this too, of like, if I start doing something and it doesn't work or it doesn't help, like what was the point? And so then like they don't start.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's scary to begin or change. Plus there's a lot of like peer judgment and peer influence and it's way easier to be like I'm going to take a pill that stops this. And I even had a patient tell me this the other day. She was like I would rather just I was like, "Okay, you need to stress less. You need to eat better, like whatever, change these things, whatever." And she's a person with chronic dizziness, and she's like, I would just rather like just take a pill.
Hmm.
There is no world in which we can just take a pill forever. I mean, that's what the healthcare model does do right now, but it doesn't make you the wellest version of yourself.
Right. Because it's almost like in order, if you go on that journey of like, say you're somebody that wants to lose weight, or say you're somebody that wants to, let's just say you want to run like a half marathon or a race or something, like it is the mental, physical, emotional journey that you take that prepares you for that. It's if you could just like take a pill and be in shape to run a marathon, like you would miss out on all of the like mental emotional training that it takes in order to become that version of you that is prepared and
So
ready and
true.
excited to like run that marathon or half marathon or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think that is the part that like to health and wellness that you isn't stressed enough and
Hmm.
that you don't realize needs to change.
Yeah, and I also think most people are like, but I feel great, but they don't know what great could feel like.
Hmm.
Like I used to say I felt great sleeping on like 5 hours of sleep a night.
That's so insane.
And now I'm like, whoa, I do not feel great when I sleep for 5 hours. But you do it for so long, you don't know the how it could feel differently. And also it's way easier, and I empathize with this, to do the trendy Instagram thing of like, I'm just gonna look in the sun for 10 minutes in the morning, but that means that like negates the fact that I have to do the rest of these things. It's so much easier to drink a skinny tea. It's so much easier to do like the one thing. But at the end of the day, if you are not doing the very basics of drinking enough water, eating enough protein and fiber, I'm gonna start saying that. And we cannot forget our fiber, friends. Um, strength training. Did I already say that one? No,
No.
strength training, walking regularly and like seeing people, what's the point of doing the rest of the things? Like
Yeah.
all the extra like red light hacks and the
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
is not gonna be enough or it.
I think that stuff too, like, is that stuff helpful? Yes. Like, is it helpful personally to like, I think for me, a huge piece of it too is like when you do those things, you are being right, you're influenced somewhat from someone that looks like they have their life together 100% on social media and like they are so healthy, they're doing everything right. So like doing one of those things makes you kind of feel like you have your shit together. Like, and I agree, I like totally empathize with that. But I think everybody's recipe of like health and wellness, which is kind of the whole point of this podcast, is different. And so you have to figure out what those things are for you, but it's not just going to be taking like little things from different people that you see and then like doing it to feel better. It's going to be like sitting down and really becoming consistent and figuring out what makes you feel good and what makes, I mean, part of me, what makes me feel good is just having my shit together. Like that is a huge piece of it. Like if I'm overwhelmed by anything, like I didn't eat very well. I didn't get enough sleep, so that's not setting me up for my day the next day. Like anything like that. Or like if I'm on my phone too much, like I feel really overwhelmed. So it's just it's different for everybody and you kind of have to like create your own concoction, but it is a concoction in a recipe. It's not one one thing that you do that's just going to make you feel like the most well version of you.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. I think it's like a concoction of things and it's not something you can just throw money at either.
Yeah.
Like all the things that you actually have to do are mostly free,
Yeah.
which
And
is
it
kind of
feels,
nice.
yeah, which feels so good too, because there's like, so I know I've talked about this before, but having this thing called scarcity brain, so basically like
Mhm.
always looking for your next hit, and that is kind of how
Mhm.
the world is set up around us. And
Mhm.
hits could be so many different things. Like it could be buying something. Like when you buy something, you get like a hit, right? Like or
Mhm.
an adrenaline rush or something like it makes you happy. You feel better, you're happier. And that's okay to
Mhm.
do sometimes, but like you can't always do that. Or maybe it's like a drink, having a drink of alcohol or like having something like that. That's like
Mhm.
maybe one is great and maybe two is okay, but maybe like three, like you just keep going, but you're not like getting the same hit. It's kind of like
Yeah.
gambling. Like it just like wears out over time.
Mhm.
So yeah, you have to be aware of those things and
Mhm.
what is going to be more of a long-term happy by changing your like practice of it.
Yeah, I think both aware and intentional.
Yes. Yeah.
If this is something you are trying to be more mindful of or trying to make changes in, start, I say this all the time, but start with whichever one you feel like is the easiest possible one to start with.
Hmm.
Make it the most obvious, the simplest.
Yeah.
I can drink more water. That's easy. I can bring myself a water bottle all over the place. That seems easy for me. Um, so go with whichever one seems easiest.
Yeah. I think water and
Hmm.
steps are like two of
Hmm.
the easiest ones to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm. Do you
Hmm.
have anything in your life today that you spend money on, like from a health perspective, that in the past you'd have been like, that is, I would never spend money on that?
Oh,
Like putting you on the spot. I'm trying to
I'm
think of
trying to
some of my
think.
own, but I think,
Maybe like a red light mask for my face or like uh really nice skincare or things like that.
yeah, even just like
Maybe.
quality ingredients or like nicer cleaning ingredients for the
Oh,
house
yeah.
or like quality pans for the kitchen or like things that
Hmm.
I think a lot of times it's almost everything is a bit of an investment up front, but
Hmm.
then it pays off so much better in life
It
later
really
on.
does. It really does make a difference later on. Oh my gosh.
I think it's
I totally
cool
agree.
having gone to physical therapy school because
Hmm.
we learn so much about the body and health and wellness from a different standpoint that you really learn like all of these things that happen later on in life can be worked on right now, like in your 20s and 30s and 40s. And it's never too late to
Yeah,
start, but
totally.
which I think is so interesting.
But I think like we see people walking around who are older than us and you're like, I'm not going to end up like that.
Hmm.
Or you'll see people who are like, oh, I want to be like them. Like my Grammy, like I want to be like, we're not related at all. It's like my cousin's grandma on the other side of her family, but she's a badass. She's like late 70s, I want to say.
Okay.
You would never know. She looks about 65 and she still wears like 6-inch heels half the time. She says flats make her feet hurt. And she's like cutting hair. She still runs a chair in San Francisco in the city. And she's working all the time and just like she's like, I do my steps, I do my weights, like I do all the things. Um, and she's hysterical. And I'm like, I'm trying to be like that.
Yeah.
But you have to start now with things like that. Like she's always been that way.
Hmm.
Whereas it can be more difficult to start in your 70s if you're not
Yeah.
already feeling well.
Right. And I think it's just like you've created a lifetime of habits for yourself. Like, think of when you're in, and I know we all have cycles, right? And eras of like when we can do certain things, of like health for whatever works for us during that period of time in our life, right? Like maybe in your 20s, you're really like hustling at work. And so it's harder to like fit certain things in. Or like maybe if you're in your mom era, you're not going to have time to like do these things for you, right? Like it's just like being gentle with yourself during those periods of time too. But yeah, it's like small habits that you build up over time and then like I I would say like small promises that you keep to yourself too. And like the second that you keep one of those promises, like that builds on self-love and like responsibility that you have to yourself. And then it makes it easier to just keep making more of those promises and keep them for
Absolutely.
yourself. Yeah.
No, I totally agree with that. I think it's a very good point. So start small, build trust in yourself, but do it slowly. I know, especially if you're a person who has a chronic illness or something like that, where you're chronically dealing with something, that trust in yourself can be broken really easily. But rebuilding that trust, just like Rachel was saying, is really important, and it absolutely can be done so long as you do it slowly and make promises to yourself that are attainable. So like instead of being saying I'm going to work out for the next 15 days straight, say I'm going to do some type of movement for at least 5 minutes a day if you're at a
Mhm.
place where you haven't done that in a while.
Yeah. And
And just keep
especially like whatever's feeling good for your body. Like just
totally.
because you're like you follow someone on Instagram that has like your dream body or whatever, and this is what they do for exercise, and you actually like find yourself not wanting to go to the gym or do it because you hate doing that exercise, then don't do it. Like do something that makes you feel good and like feel
100%.
like your best self. And I think that's helpful too.
I totally agree. I just think that it's easier to spend money on your phone bill and your TV and all of the things that like make life easier and simpler than it is to spend money on your health. But there is a statistic somewhere, I think from the CDC, that for every dollar you spend on your health preventatively, you save like $2.17 in the future or something like that, which is very interesting. And I will find that so you can cite it.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, this is, I think it is so easy to like go out to dinner and spend like $40 on yourself. But at the same time, like it's hard to spend maybe like $40 a month at the gym, like on a gym membership, which actually it isn't because that's insanely cheap for a gym membership.
It
That's
is.
what I pay, but I got really lucky with that. But yeah, it's just like I think it's something, it's the difference between it's almost just like a shift in mindset. Like you have to figure out one thing that's helped me, and I've talked about this before, but it's just like making a vision board. And like I know Maddie, you did this too, but it's specifically for one, like on your health and wellness and like where you want to be at. And maybe you make one for 6 months, maybe you make one for 5 years, maybe you make one for 20 years, and you may like, make like all three. And like you make goals of where you want to be at. And then once you have those things written down, it's way easier to make choices and prepare yourself to make those things come true than instead just like having a general idea in your head of like, what does wellness mean to me? What, like, when I'm 80, I don't want to be living in a home with someone taking care of me, taking all these medications. Like, that's very general. Like, what do you actually want to be doing? You know what I mean? And making very specific goals and outcomes of like what you want your life to look like. And thinking about that now when you're in your whatever decade you're in, like it doesn't matter. Like it's always great to start thinking about. But I think that that is really helpful to write down specific things of how you want life to look.
I would like to, when I'm 80, still be skiing. And I see 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds out there skiing all the
I
time.
love that. That's so
Which
cool.
is so cool. Probably hiking a little bit in the summer, walking my dogs all the time. Probably going to see my grandkids would be ideal. Things like that where I'm living long enough, but my lifespan and my health span are pretty much equivalent.
Hmm.
I want to die of old age and people be like, oh, I can't believe she died.
I can't believe that lady is skiing at
Oh, I see tons of them.
85. They're gonna be saying that about you.
Heck yeah. Like, yeah, I want to say not this past season, but the one before that. I was working all day and I took the very last chair up. And the woman was like, oh, I've been out here since 9 a.m. And all my friends took the tram to the top, but I decided that I was done for the day early. And I looked at the watch, it was 3:15. And lifts close at 4. She's like, I was done early. My friends are still going up the tram.
You're like, this is early.
This early. I was like, this is my first run. So that is those are the people who I really look up to.
I love that. That's so cool. Yeah. I think that is honestly the hardest part is like just shifting your mindset to be doing something that your future self will look back and thank you for versus like your current self. I think Joe talks about this all the time, but like type 2 fun. Like it's not very much fun like when you're doing it, but afterwards there's like this like delayed gratification where you're like, wow, I'm so glad I did
Totally.
that. Yeah.
Joe also talks about slow brain tasks,
Yeah.
which are like when you're doing something, you're just doing it. And I talked to a patient about that this week because he's like never just doing one thing. And
Hmm.
it's a lot of screen time,
Mm.
far too much. And I asked him, I was like, when's the last time you like just did? He's like, literally never. And so I told him to start doing just one thing. And so then I made myself for like a couple days do just one thing. It is hard, folks. It is hard to even go to the bathroom without your phone.
Yeah.
Like silly things like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or just even like just watch a TV show. Like not
Oh my
eating
God, I know.
dinner, not on your phone scrolling at the same time, not like working on your laptop, like
Mm-hmm.
just being absorbed in one episode of a show.
Mm-hmm. It is legitimately difficult.
It
So
is. Yeah.
try. Try to just play cards with your partner or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's hard.
I do think that's why, like, even though when you exercise, you usually like listen to music or listen to a
Mm-hmm.
podcast, it is so helpful because you just like
Mm-hmm.
are in that flow state and
100%.
focus. Yeah. Or even just try like turning your phone on like sleep mode for a few hours a day.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Sleep mode or airplane mode or whatever.
Yes. Also,
Totally agree.
somehow all of my notifications on my phone got turned off
Oh,
besides
that's nice.
texts. Like I
What
don't
a
get
dream.
emails. I don't get anything from Instagram. Nothing.
Oh, I get nothing from Instagram
You
either.
don't either? Okay.
I turned off had to.
That's been a lifesaver.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah,
can't.
that was
I also don't have it on my home screen. Like I just
Instagram.
hit it. Yeah, I hit it.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
smart. Yeah, that is honestly, it's changed my mental health and like
Yeah, you
focus
can't.
on
Especially when you
everything.
start like blowing up on Instagram, you have to have them off. It's
Yeah,
aggressive.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so yeah, I think it's just not it's easier to throw money at something, which would be spending money on healthcare, but it's easier to throw money at something. This is the thing I learned to retroactively try and take care of something versus
Hmm.
trying to prevent something that you do not know you will be guaranteed to get.
Yeah. I sometimes when I have a hard time like trying to decide if I'm gonna like make a purchase on something
Mhm.
health related or not, I have put a value of like how much money would I pay um monthly to like be my optimal self, to be like the happiest
Mm.
version of myself, to be the
Huh.
most fit, healthy version of myself. And honestly, I would spend a ton of money on that. Like
Yeah,
to
same.
just feel amazing every single day.
Mhm.
And then I say, like, how much would I spend? Like, would I spend $1,000 a month on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Like, I
cashing your full credit card bills, things
absolutely.
like that.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I would easily
Yeah.
take a however,
Yeah.
however much mortgage out to pay $1,000 a month to like feel the best I could feel. And like,
Fantastic.
yeah. And then sometimes I'm
I
like,
agree.
okay, should I spend that
Mhm.
much money on an acai bowl today? Like, yeah,
Maybe.
I should.
Maybe I should.
Or like, is that gym membership too expensive? No, no, I don't
Probably
think it
not.
is. Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. So
Yes.
it's a
All
fun
right.
way to think about it.
I like that way. All right.
Yay!
Anything else, you guys? Or you? Just talking to one person here. Tugboat, got anything? I'm just kidding. It's like, what?
He's like, just
I have treats.
have a good mom and dad. Um,
Pretty lucky. Your life does not suck. Anyways.
yeah. I think I'm challenging everyone that's listening
Mm. Mm-hmm.
to write down like your happiest version and like visualize like the happiest version of you, like who are they? What are they doing? How do they feel moment to moment? And then figure out like one or two steps that you could
Love
start
that.
doing to get you
Love
there.
that. And
Mhm.
start slow, friends.
Mhm.
Start slow. All right.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.
Bye.